Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Yesterday I was wondering if I would need to dedicate today's entire episode to reviewing the ABC Marvel special, Assembling a Universe. So I settled in to watch it, having DVR'd it in advance so I could fast forward the commercials. But little did I know I would end up fast forwarding almost the entire special. Yes, once I realized we'd spent the first 13 minutes on just Iron Man 1 alone, I was like, I already know all this stuff. When are we going to get to the good stuff? And I think Marvel made a big mistake. They made a lot of mistakes, I think, with this special. But you should always start with your best stuff first. Why everyone's tuning in. They should have started out with a focus on the new stuff. In fact, I think the special should have only focused, I guess, on Captain America 2, because that's what's coming out. I guess that's what they want to help promote. They ended up not running a S.H.I.E.L.D. episode in tandem with this. They went straight into the Goldbergs, which I don't mind because I love the Goldbergs and it needs all the help it can get. Although I'd be surprised if anyone watched this thing all the way through. So I think they should have started with a focus on what they have that's coming up that's new, which is, Captain America 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers 2, obviously, and Ant-Man. But lo and behold, how much time did they spend on new material? 3 freaking minutes. I fast forwarded so long, I couldn't believe it. It was such a big giant pat on the back. I thought that it wasn't particularly genuine, and it was old interviews spliced together. I don't even think Robert Downey Jr. sat down for anything unique about this special. They were just finding old interviews from all the different movies that were made, and I think that's the same for everybody involved here. Probably except for the Captain America 2 crew, who of course are very eager to talk about their movie that's coming up. So what was the new stuff that we got to see? I'm going to put some pictures up for you guys, because of course this is graphic, important. You want to see what I was talking about. And also, it's not that much work for me because there isn't much stuff to put up. So we saw, first of all, they talked Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit. We didn't see too much here. We saw a lot more of actually Zoe Saldana as Gamora, and she looked really cool. I was really excited about that. The character looked fierce. She looked very alien, and it made me feel a lot better about her character going forward. She was one of the few things I was worried about. I'm also worried about Dave Bautista's acting ability, but I don't really know if anything's going to make me feel better about that. I thought it was interesting also they included Vin Diesel with Groot in a comment instead of any Bradley Cooper footage, or with Bradley Cooper footage as well. Very little Rocket Raccoon in the special, which I think there are a lot of, as I said, so many missed opportunities here for what they should have been highlighting, selling, and putting up front. I really don't think anyone would watch 45 minutes of Marvel being like, are we brilliant or what? And then the other thing we saw was a really quick shot of Ronan The Accuser. Now this was a screen grab that made the rounds on Monday, so it wasn't too much of a surprise, but you could clearly see him, and he looked very much like the comic, which was cool, especially because it's such an odd costume choice that you would think Hollywood, of all the things they reinvent, they would be like, no way we're putting that, like pizza dough thing on Lee Pace's head, and they're like, nope, we're gonna do it. So I think kudos to Lee Pace for not being a prima donna about it either, and being like, you can't see me under here. So that's what we kind of saw about Guardians of the Galaxy. Then they went into Avengers 2. Oh, by the way, they also made a really clear point. I fast forwarded through a lot of the Captain America 2 stuff because I was, it was late and I was kind of ticked off that this was such a bad, disappointing special. But I did hear enough of them really making it clear that if you don't see Captain America 2, you're going to be lost when Avengers 2 starts. So I thought that was a very funny idea to try and really push that and be like, this is the movie that leads directly into the Avengers, so don't miss it. I thought that was very blatant marketing. Also, I thought by putting Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 kind of back to back in their timeline, it made it clear that while they were trying to obviously put all these characters through the ringer to get ready for a darker Avengers 2, which I thought was an interesting choice that Joss Whedon seems to be going for there. I don't know how dark Joss Whedon can get, but I think, I don't know. I was going to say kudos to him for trying, but since it's worked so poorly for Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World, I mean, we'll see how it goes with Captain America 2. I don't know if this is the right track. I liked Iron Man 3, but I know a ton of people had huge problems with it. I think we all can agree that Thor the Dark World was underwhelming. So I hope that Captain America reverses the sort of backslide that Marvel has going in terms of quality. But anyway, what did we see for Avengers Age of Ultron? Nothing about Ultron, but we were treated to character designs for the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I thought Quicksilver looked pretty good. I really hated the Scarlet Witch design. It looked very, I was like, how is this different than what Bryan Singer's doing over in X-Men Days of Future Past with Wanda and Pietro? I mean, they were not really differentiated at all. And I guess these are like Wanda's day clothes before she becomes an Avenger eventually down the line. And also, I kept thinking, I was like, they should talk about how she and Paul Bettany are going to get together because he's playing the Vision. But I just felt that I would have liked to have seen some nod to her costume in the comics, the red coat. I mean, she's supposed to be Eurotrash. I think that I could easily see Eurotrash wearing an outfit very similar to the way Wanda's outfit has been reimagined for Marvel now, as I've discussed before here on this show. So I was disappointed in this kind of, very Hollywood, like, look, she's like a regular person kind of character design choice. And also, the Pietro Quicksilver choice looked more like the comic, but I don't know, for some reason they didn't fit into the Avengers world for me. It seemed like they were like X-Men designs, and which makes sense, I guess, because they're mutants in the X-Men comics, but they weren't fitting for me. We'll see how they fit in the actual film, but I wasn't too pleased with what I saw. Also, we saw a sketch concept art. We saw a lot of concept art, but the only thing that really pointed to something new was this concept art of the Hulk fighting the Hulkbuster armor from Iron Man 3 that we saw just for a moment. So it looks like they're going to throw down and have some kind of fight. So we'll see what happens there. And then also, I was really surprised that there was no Ant-Man discussion, and then only in the end when they showed these clips, and I thought it was interesting, they clearly interviewed a lot of celebrities but decided not to use, Comic-Con celebrities. And I did think it was interesting how much this special played up the importance of Comic-Con without really talking to any actual fans. I mean, they have these celebrity fans, but Comic-Con is supposed to be a fan event, but it was interesting to see somebody try and introduce the event that is Comic-Con to mainstream moviegoers who don't attend the event because there's no more room, it's sold out, you can't go. But they had those people at the end talking like Bobby from SNL, I forget his full name, Chris Hardwick from Nerdist, basically just saying some nice stuff about Marvel. But then they showed just the clips from Ant-Man that was the test footage that Edgar Wright has been showing to everybody. So I was just surprised that considering all the major casting announcements they've had, they wouldn't bring in Edgar Wright to actually do a sit-down, or Paul Rudd, or Michael Douglas, and also I think Patrick Wilson, Michael Pena. These people have all been confirmed, and Evangeline Lilly, I'm not sure if her contract went through yet, but there's people you can talk to. So I just wish I wish this had been 45 minutes, because when you cut out commercials, that's how long it is. I wish this had been 45 minutes of looking to the future. I think that any fan who would tune into this already knows the story they were telling. So I was really disappointed in the choice they made, and it's a very common rule. This is something my mother learned when she went to Columbia, and she taught it to me, and so I'll pass it on to you, is that you always need to hit people with your best stuff first. It's a common misconception that you should end on your best stuff. I mean, that's not to say you shouldn't end on a good note, but if you have something to hook, something that's your big wow factor, you need to put that up front to get people to stay, because they won't stick around for the end. So I mean, the common idea that you should save the best for last, slow build to the amazingness that is the end. Again, you can have an amazing end, but you really need an amazing beginning to make sure someone stays for the end. And as for me, I fast forwarded their entire special for 3 minutes. So I just gave you the whole entire special right now. So I'm curious, did anybody else tune into this? Were you equally disappointed as I was? Or did you enjoy this walk down Marvel memory lane? And what did you think of what they did reveal? So write your thoughts down below. That's the first story. And today's a Disney day. Disney dominated the headlines once again. I'm going to put up my Maleficent review later today for the latest trailer. But we have even more news. Disney, so they couldn't fill this whole episode with Marvel assembling a universe news, but they had plenty coming out anyway. Also, as many of you pointed out to me yesterday, it was confirmed to investors, and then it obviously leaked to the internet, that Incredibles 2 has been confirmed. Well, semi-confirmed. Brad Bird is working on the script, and I think that's fascinating that he decided to revisit this material. I also think it's great that Disney Pixar refused to do it without him. They could have easily said, look, Brad Bird, this train is leaving the station. Either you're on it or you're not. But they were like, what time do you want to leave, Brad Bird? We will wait. So I also think it's interesting. Maybe that was part of the Tomorrowland deal. They're like, if you want to make this crazy out there movie that we can't tell anybody what it's about, you have to make The Incredibles 2 afterwards. And that's totally believable. And Disney, all studios, Warner Brothers with The Dark Knight Rises and Inception, that was a package deal for Nolan. Studios often incentivize their creators to make the mainstream commercial product that they need, that fans demand, with kind of allowing a filmmaker to make kind of their dream project. So we'll see. The Incredibles 2, so he's working on the script. I think this is a great idea. I definitely want to revisit this universe. I think Brad Bird has a lot of integrity as a creator. I think that because The Incredibles was kind of like a a throwback anyway to begin with. I think kind of a commentary on superheroics and such. I think there's certainly stuff you can go with for the sequel. There's certainly new territory to mine. I really hope that also goes forward in the future. I'd love to see the kids grown up and how they kind of work as a family. Maybe maybe Bob and Helen will become grandparents. I think that might be interesting. Also, that crazy baby with those crazy powers. I'd love to see what happens to Junior. That would be interesting as well. What kind of superhero would he become? Maybe a villain. Maybe he turns into a villain. I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting things that can happen, but it's probably they said in the article that I've seen that it would probably be 2018, although that's the same year that Disney's Moana, their Hawaiian princess, is supposed to come out. So I mean, Pixar and Disney movies can come out at the same time, but I don't know, maybe they might backburner that or something will have to be moved, but I think The Incredibles 2 can come out whenever it wants. It's been hotly anticipated, and I think the fan fervor for it has incredibly not died down, despite the fact that The Incredibles came out so long ago. All right, but this is also, again, another package deal, as it means we're also getting Cars 3. I'm amazed that this franchise will not die. I think Cars 1 was okay, although I have to admit, Cars Land in Disney's California Adventure is awesome. It's quite nice. It's really nice to be in there. It has a great feel, especially at night. And if you go there, I recommend you eat at Flo's and sit in the back so you can watch the Cars ride go by. It's a lot of fun. It's very peaceful and relaxing. And then go on the Cars ride, but the line is ridiculous, so try and get on there early. The last time I was there, even the single riders line was like an hour. And I was like, for single riders, that's ridiculous. It's like the test track of California. So anyway, Cars 3, I thought Cars 2 was unwatchable. And I tried to watch Disney's, Planes, and I thought that was also like torture. And they're making another one of those. And I'm like, fool me once, Cars, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But I guess these things are still making money. People must be seeing them. And I guess it's really preschool entertainment. Not even kiddie entertainment. I guess that's who their sweet spot is, and they're right on target. So I can't say bad things about a company that's doing things that are good for its bottom line, and there's an audience that exists for it. So Cars 3, for those of you who are into cars, rejoice. All right, so the third thing I want to talk about is also, I wasn't sure, there's another story I was thinking about, it'll come out tomorrow. I try and use this third space for stories that aren't huge headline grabbers. And this one has to do with also Disney, obviously, but Disney On Demand. You might have seen that Disney released their own service, their own app, so you can play Disney movies, and I checked it out, a whole slew. They have a very good library, and it's a good mix of classics, live action, animated, and it's very nice to look at. They built it very pretty with very nice thumbnails, and of course Disney animation is beautiful anyway, and it makes you want to watch Disney products, and it's an app that you can get. I don't know if this time might have passed, but if you sign up for it, they gave you The Incredibles for free. Obviously, as you can see, you have to pay for every rental, and also you can get points with every rental or every purchase, and you can work your way towards rewards. So I think that's an interesting idea. But anyway, if you get it, you can watch it on your television, any mobile device. It's a universal app for watching their movies. So the reason this comes up is because Frozen obviously came out on DVD yesterday, and my father missed seeing Frozen in theaters. He didn't get a chance to go with me because I had to go to review it, so I went late at night during the week and he couldn't go, and then my mother and my sister went during the holidays on a matinee, so my dad missed out. And since the movie made over $1 billion, he is naturally curious to see it. He's like, I just would like to see it for myself. And we've all been very supportive, and I'm like, sure, I think that's a great idea. You should definitely check it out because it's something that's so big. So I've been keeping an eye on it for him. And so when they said, Frozen's available a few weeks ago, I was like, here's your chance, Dad. And then I realized, this is only a digital release. It's only available on iTunes and such, Amazon, I believe, or this Disney app that they launched. So I was like, all right, Dad, you'll have to wait till it comes out on demand on the day of its release, a DVD release. So lo and behold, that's yesterday. We go on demand on Time Warner Cable. The thing's not there. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. Why is this not here? And it occurred to me, it's that damn Disney app. Disney is not releasing any of their movies anymore on Time Warner On Demand. That is shocking to me. I'll go check over on Netflix, but I know they've been shrinking their library there. But they've basically said if you want to watch a Disney movie at home and you're not willing to purchase it at a store and you just want to rent it and stream it, you have to do it through us. And I think this is a very bold move. And sure, I could sign up for this app. Why not, right? But you know what? I kind of resent having to cherry pick and go to different studios to get my movies. Is this going to encourage Warner Brothers to have their own streaming service? I like the fact that I can go to Time Warner Channel 1000 and every new current release is is there, and I can just get it from one place. It's one-stop shopping, and it's in my favor. This is, the idea I have to visit each studio to get their movie is very frustrating to me, and I'm just really surprised that Disney would do this. And I guess they feel they're such a juggernaut with so many big movies. You're not going to watch Frozen? But I don't know. My dad really wants to see it, and I really don't want to buy it. I don't know if we want to invest in it or not. I mean, my mother and my sister thought it was better than I did, so I don't know, maybe because I want my dad to see it. So, I don't know, what do you guys think I should do? I'll let you guys vote. Should I purchase Frozen for my dad? His birthday is coming up. Should I purchase Frozen the Blu-ray edition for my dad? Or should I sign up for this Disney app, which seems pretty cool, but, am I giving in to the system, and am I encouraging other studios to do the same? And soon enough, I will kill Time Warner On Demand, which I love so much. All right, so write your thoughts down below about that. All right, the viewer question. This is something that Relic21, or RELYK21, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but asking it for several days in a row now. And it is kind of, it's not Disney related. I would have liked to go for an entire episode of Disney, but Relic's been so polite about this, I want to answer the question. Now, it plays into the, we've been talking a lot about race and gender the last few days, and specifically the casting of Star Wars, but maybe Hollywood overall. So, Relic21 says, "Hi Grace, I love your show. Thank you, Relic21. Today your question is getting answered. I look forward to it every morning," and says very other nice things about me. So let's get to the question, and I appreciated that, Relic. It said, "Here goes my question. Since the topic about diversity and race is big right now, how do you see newly Oscar winner, or newly appointed Oscar winner, Lupita Nyong'o's career going? You mentioned that she needed to secure a big role to solidify her spot in Hollywood, and I was wondering what type of role you think she needs. I personally wish they would somehow recast Halle Berry and have Lupita as Storm." Thanks, Grace. Well, thank you, Relic21, for your question. And I did hear actually a rumor recently that Storm has been basically almost entirely cut out of X-Men Days of Future Past. So I don't know, maybe Lupita Nyong'o could come in there at some point. I actually don't think this is a good idea for her to do a comic book movie, though. And let me explain. Also, I'm sure some of you have heard this rumor that she's been meeting with J.J. Abrams. And why would anyone meet with J.J. Abrams unless it was to discuss potentially being in Star Wars? At least that's the logic of the internet. And I think to some degree that makes sense. Now, anyone would be a fool to turn down a role in Star Wars. It's just too big a deal. It's too iconic. But just ask Natalie Portman, as someone else here pointed out a few days ago. Natalie Portman has been very vocal about the fact that she feels that Star Wars damaged her career. I mean, she went on to then win an Oscar, so she rebounded. But I think she's still, that's still a real big, black mark on her resume. And everyone, I think, when they see her, is like, wow, you were really part of those crappy sequels, and your green screen acting was atrocious. And it really was. It was really bad. I mean, I feel bad for Natalie Portman, but Ewan McGregor did okay with his green screen acting. And so I feel that, it's unfortunate no one pointed out to her on set. But I think she does have to own that a little bit. And I think, obviously she does. I wouldn't throw Star Wars under the bus, though. Although, some of you don't seem that protective of Star Wars anymore. So I guess Natalie Portman can do whatever she wants. But as to Lupita Nyong'o, if she wants to be in Star Wars, if the role is offered to her, she should take it. But I don't think it's necessarily going to help her career, especially if it's a tiny role. But, when Lupita Nyong'o won the Oscar, I had said, this is a great moment for her. I think it's going to put her at the top of a lot of Hollywood casting lists, hopefully. But I would like to maybe see her, if she really wants to be a movie star, if she wants to be someone who's around all the time, if she wants to be the next Meryl Streep that went to the same drama school, the Yale School of Drama, she needs a really good role right away to build on this heat, this momentum. And I don't think that's a comic book movie. Now, I know just the other day, Lancaster Dodd asked me a question about why do you think everyone needs a comic book movie, and I said, I give my explanation. You can go check that out. I think it was on Monday. So I gave my explanation on Monday as to why that was. But for Lupita Nyong'o, she has really built a career as a serious actress. And she has that wonderful British accent that she displayed when she gave her Oscar speech. Very different. She's very personally different than the character of Patsy that she played in 12 Years a Slave. So I think her next role needs to be another prestige pick where she shows off her acting chops. I mean, that's going to be her big selling point. As I just said, Meryl Streep, if she wants to be the next Meryl Streep, what's Meryl Streep's selling point? That she's a brilliant chameleon. So I think Lupita Nyong'o needs to do that. Now, second, the other thing I think that's really paramount for the role is that it be colorblind. That she not go into a movie that has anything to do with race. Because 12 Years a Slave was entirely about race. That's what the point of the movie. It was, a very important point. But I think if Lupita Nyong'o wants to be a regular player, she needs to find a movie role which she just happens to be her character just happens to be black, but otherwise that's not the crux of the story. Because I think that will solidify her as a potential A-lister. You know, someone who can be a lead in any movie, not just, hey, we need a black actress, get me the short list. Oh, look, Lupita Nyong'o's on top of it, because not only do I have diversity in my movie now, but I also have an Oscar winner. I just think that would really hurt her, and I think if she can get maybe a political thriller, something like a good drama, something, that the kind of movie that a male Oscar winner would get. Something like Kevin Spacey, like, I guess you could say, something like American Beauty, that kind of a role. Maybe she should go find out the scripts that like a younger Annette Bening would be rejecting and see if she can get that. So that's what I would like to see Lupita Nyong'o do. And I think if she takes, for instance, the role of Storm, it's unfortunate the role of Storm hasn't been developed better, but right now in the movie version, it really is just a token role, just to add some diversity to the X-Men, which is sad because while it's how it might have started when the character was originally introduced, along with a bunch of other races and nationalities when they back in the X-Men days when Nightcrawler, Storm, and Wolverine and Colossus, etc. were all introduced at the same time. They all grew into really unique, beloved individual characters with great personalities, but we've just never seen that materialize in the movies. She continues, as they said, to be a token. So I would like to see Lupita Nyong'o basically become an untoken, become an actual actress, a fully defined actress who gets those kind of great roles. So that's today's morning movie news. Thank you for tuning in. Please write down below what you think of today's top 3 stories, the viewer question, and anything you'd like to see covered tomorrow, and any questions you might have. Thanks for watching. Bye.